Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down something pretty wild. How a single social media post managed to send markets into a nosedive, kick off a modern-day gold rush, and bring two countries right to the brink of a major conflict.
Okay, let's jump right in with this number. $5,588.71. That, right there, was the new all-time high for a single ounce of gold. I mean, wow. It's a massive jump, and it was all because of a sudden wave of panic that swept the globe. The big question is, what kicked it all off?
Well, this was it. This was the spark, a post from former President Donald Trump, and it was a direct threat. He said a massive armada was on its way to Iran. And you got to understand, this wasn't just another post. No, this was a statement that sent instant shockwaves rippling through the entire global financial system. And that's what started the mad dash for gold.
So that single threat, it just injected a huge dose of uncertainty into everything. Let's really dig into how one post on social media could cause this much financial panic, pretty much overnight.
And yeah, he wasn't exactly subtle about it. He went right on his Truth Social platform and basically backed Tehran into a corner. He demanded they get back to the negotiating table for a new nuclear deal, and he put this really tense public deadline on it. You can bet the whole world was watching, and you know the markets were listening to every single word.
And this right here, this chart just perfectly captures that immediate gut reaction from the markets. The second the risk of a real conflict shot up, investors did what they always do in a panic. They dumped risky stuff like stocks and sprinted towards assets they thought were safe. And you can see it plain as day. Gold goes up, oil goes up, and stocks, they take a nosedive. It's a textbook fear response.
Okay, so let's follow the money. Let's see exactly how this one political threat turned into a massive financial shockwave that you could feel all across the planet.
So when you look at these numbers, what's just staggering is the scale of this thing. This wasn't just a problem for, Wall Street. We're seeing major stock markets in Tokyo and Hong Kong sliding. Oil prices are jumping because people are terrified a conflict in the Middle East could just shut off the supply. And then there's Jakarta, look at that, a massive 8% drop. This wasn't local, it was a truly global event.
There's actually a name for this kind of behavior. It's called a flight to safety. It's pretty simple. When things get scary and uncertain, investors stop thinking about making huge profits. Instead, they just want to protect what they have. So they pull their money out and put it into what are called safe haven assets. And for centuries, the ultimate safe haven has always been gold.
Right, so the markets are clearly freaking out about a potential war. But what about the other side of this whole mess? How did Iran actually respond to being threatened like that?
Well, they did not back down. Not one bit. Iran Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi came out with this statement, and it was just as forceful. The message couldn't be clearer. If that U.S. armada makes a move, Iran is ready to hit back and hit back hard and fast. So what you have here is, it's a perfect diplomatic storm, a total standoff. On one side, you've got the U.S. basically saying, come negotiate or else. And on the other side, Iran is firing back with, hey, we can't negotiate with a gun to our head. It's a classic catch-22, right? There was just no obvious way to de-escalate things from here.
Okay, so we get it. Fear makes people run to gold. But why gold? Why is it the go-to safe place for money? The answer is actually a lot deeper than just being scared of a war. It really gets to the very core of what we believe our money is built on: trust. And this quote here from an analyst named Stephen Innes, it really hits the nail on the head. He says gold is the inverse of confidence. Think about that. He's saying it's not just another investment. It's more like a vote. When people start losing faith in governments and their ability to keep things stable, they start looking for an alternative.
So here's the really crucial point. That phrase, fiat stewardship, sounds complicated, but it's not. It's just a fancy term for the trust we put in our governments to manage our money properly. I mean, think about it. Our dollars, our euros, they aren't backed by a pile of gold somewhere. They're backed by confidence. And when a crisis can literally be sparked by one guy on social media, that confidence gets shaky. So the rush to gold? It wasn't just about Iran. It was a massive signal of doubt in the stability of the entire financial system. So, where does all this leave us? Well, you've got military ships on the move and diplomats who can't even talk to each other. The whole world is basically holding its breath, just watching this incredibly tense situation play out.
All right, so let's get a quick snapshot of the situation on the ground. You have the U.S. naval armada right there in Middle Eastern waters. Both the U.S. and Iran are running military drills, basically flexing their muscles.
Iran has warned its neighbors, hey, don't let the US use your territory to attack us or you'll be considered hostile. At the same time, countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE are trying to stay out of it. And behind all this public posturing, you've got mediators from places like Egypt and Turkey desperately trying to calm things down.
And all of this really boils down to one final huge question that this whole crisis shoves in our faces. In a crisis, what do we trust more, governments or gold? When the systems we count on every day suddenly feel shaky, when a few words on a screen can literally move armies and crash stock markets, that frantic rush to gold isn't just a financial move, it's a vote. It forces us all to ask ourselves, in a world that's constantly on edge, what truly has value?